Good morning. Welcome back to the OHSU Effect, Inside Health and Science. I'm Lacey Evans. We've had a great show so far, and if you missed any of it, just a reminder that you can always get it on podcast via kxl.com or ohsueffect.org. Okay, President Obama has ordered a complete withdrawal of all U.S. troops from Iraq by the end of the year, which means up to 40,000 men and women will return home from the combat zone, and many of them will suffer from post-traumatic stress disorder. And while most people don't think about meditation as a way to treat PTSD, that's what researchers are doing at OHSU. Researchers are also starting to ask soldiers to begin meditation before they are deployed overseas to see if it changes how they are coping in a war zone. With me now on KXL is Helane Wahbeh, a naturopathic physician researcher at OHSU, and Robert Singh, a veteran of the Iraq War. Good morning to both of you.
Good morning.
Dr. Wahbeh, we'll start with you. Tell me about your research and this study.
So our study is called Vet Mind, and the goal of the study is to look at how mindfulness meditation can help improve PTSD, which is post-traumatic stress disorder symptoms, in combat veterans with PTSD. And we also want to look at how it's actually creating those changes, so how it's influencing the body systems and the brain function to improve those PTSD symptoms.
So meditation is one part of it. What else do you do?
So the veterans come in and they have 10 visits, and we're looking at different measures of the brain, the heart, the respiration and blood pressure. And we look at those measures before and after they do a meditation or a slow breathing training. And they get randomized to one of 4 groups. There's a meditation group, slow breathing group, meditation plus slow breathing, and a control group where they just sit quietly. And the goal is to really look at whether it's the slow breathing that's creating the changes or whether it's the mindfulness concepts and learning about the mindfulness that really helps make those changes.
Have people looked at this sort of treatment for PTSD before, and how is your study different than what's been done before?
So mindfulness meditation is really well studied, but not in PTSD. So there's been many studies looking at quality of life, chronic pain, improving anxiety and sleep in general, but not with veterans with PTSD. There's a few current studies that are happening that aren't done yet that are looking at PTSD, but this one is unique in that it's not just looking at the symptoms, but it's looking at the mechanism, which looks at how it's actually working in the body.
So you mentioned a little bit about what the participants do. How long do they do it for?
They come into the lab once a week for 6 weeks, and they're also asked to practice at home for 20 minutes a day.
So this study is ongoing, so you don't really have results yet, right?
We don't have the final results yet, but we do an interview at the end of the study for each participant, and the comments we're getting is that, this is a great study, it's helping me focus, it's helping me manage and cope in my life more easily than I had before.
That's great. Well, I'd like to bring Robert in now to talk, how this is helping you. But first, give me some of your background and, how long were you in the military?
I was in the military for 9 years. I did 3 tours in Iraq.
How did you first realize you had PTSD, or how did you become diagnosed with that?
I was diagnosed with it while I was still in the military in 2007. I was diagnosed as having mild to severe PTSD, which means that they knew I had it, but they weren't sure how severe it was. Since then, I've left the military and I'm now a civilian. And my caseworker, I'm living in a homeless shelter, and my caseworker mentioned this study to me, and I went, well, it may not help me, but it'll help other veterans, and I'd like to give back too.
What are the symptoms of your PTSD?
I have a lot of the common symptoms, which are flashbacks and nightmares are the 2 biggest ones. There's also hypervigilance and other things that are classic symptoms, and I've had some of those. They've gotten less, actually, through the course of the study because I'm able to focus more on, okay, it happened, I can accept that and move on instead of worrying about it, which is what I was doing before I started the mindfulness meditation.
Yeah, you said when you first signed up, you thought, well, this won't help me, but it could help other vets. So, but you do think it's helping?
It is helping.
Did you try to treat your symptoms before this trial?
Yes, the military actually was helping me treat my symptoms. Their approach is more of a chemical approach. They will throw medications at it to make it better, and that it's more empowering when it's something like mindfulness meditation or something that the person's doing for themselves, and then you're the one fixing it. You don't have to take a medication. And personally, sometimes taking a pill every day makes me feel like I'm sick, and PTSD isn't an illness, it's a disorder.
Right. So tell me some specifics about what you do when you go to the trial. Tell me about the meditation, about the process.
Well, you go in for your visit, and Elena, Dr. Wahbeh's assistant, will present a recording to you. And first you have to watch some stuff by a man called Jon Kabat-Zinn. He's the founder of mindfulness meditation in the West. And he talks about, this is what mindfulness meditation is. Then you go into a recording about how you're going to do your mind. It talks you through, getting ready for it, and then it says, okay, we're going to start meditation. And it teaches you to pay attention to, I was in the mindfulness meditation and slow breathing group. So it taught me to pay attention to my breath in the present moment and paying very close attention to what you're doing, but also if your mind wanders, not being judgmental about that, not saying, oh, I got it wrong, darn. No, just going, okay, minds wander, that's what they do. Okay, I accept that, and we move on.
And so you said it has helped you focus better?
Yes, it's helped me in that if I have a flashback or a nightmare, I can realize that and I can accept it instead of being scared that it's going to happen again. Instead of going, oh my goodness, now I'm going to have a bad day. I just go, okay, a couple of deep breaths and move on with my day.
That's great. That's great. Are you finished? Is your participation over in the trial?
I actually have my last appointment with Elena today.
Oh.
And I'm turning in the endpoint samples and things like that.
Do you think you'll continue doing it at home, though?
Yes.
That's great. And so would you recommend this to other vets?
I would. If they're having problems, it is an option. It may not work for everybody, but it's worked fairly well for me. And it's, again, you have to want to be able to function better. I'm not going to say better, but, able to function more than, because my home life, my wife has mentioned that I was pretty non-functional before I was in the study. And after mindfulness meditation and all that, she's noticed that I'm more functional.
Yeah. That's great.
More approachable.
That's great. Well, Dr. Wahbeh, I'd like to bring you back in. Are you still looking for participants for your research?
Yes, so it's a 5-year study, and we're about halfway through. We've completed about 45 people out of the 100 total, and the study goes through the summer of 2013.
So as you learn the results, what do you think might be the next step for this sort of treatment for PTSD and this sort of research? What's next?
I think this study will really help us understand exactly how it's working and then be able to refine the treatment. So currently, most mindfulness meditation is taught in a group setting with a large number of people. And our study will show us exactly how it's working and how to refine it so that it's specific for PTSD.
And where can people go if they want more information on this study, or are you still looking for participants? You said yes,
Yes, we are still looking for participants, and they can call 503-494-7399.
Great. Well, Dr. Helane Wahbeh, a naturopathic physician researcher at OHSU, and Robert Singh, a veteran of the Iraq War. Thank you so much for being with me. It's great information, and I think it's going to help a lot of people.
Great. Thank you.
Don't forget, we offer the OHSU Effect as podcasts on our website, kxl.com, also over at ohsueffect.org. And is there a health topic you'd like us to cover on this show? You can send me an email, lacey.evans@kxl.com, or follow me on Twitter @LaceyEvans. Send me your suggestions that way as well. Coming up next on the OHSU Effect, there is an upside if you need to stay in the hospital. The food up at OHSU has really improved. They make most of it on site, Everything is local. They even grow their own herbs. They also have room service modeled after some 5-star hotels. So no reason to be scared of the hospital cafeteria anymore. And I want to give you a sneak peek of next week's show. We're going to talk to one of the leading AIDS researchers in the country. He's attempting to develop a vaccine, and he's doing his work up at OHSU. But first, Stephen Hyatt, the Director of Food and Nutrition Services, joins me in 5 minutes on the OHSU Effect Inside Health and Science on FM News 101 KXL.